Antarctica is more than landmass. It is a continent veiled in perpetual geological mystery. A place where colossal bergs of ice stand like cathedrals of time. As summer arrives, Antarctica stirs from its long winter slumber. The sun, absent for many months, returns with an unending power. This is the season of supreme abundance, when the vast ice cover recedes, revealing patches of rock and earth. The ocean erupts with a density of life found nowhere else on Earth. Millions of creatures, compelled by a biological imperative, converge on the Antarctic shores to feed, breed, and rear their young. The transformation is nothing short of miraculous. But in this kingdom, greatness does not begin with the giants. It begins in an emerald soup, where billions of tiny lives are preparing the planet's most magnificent feast. Phytoplankton, microscopic algae, flourish in the perpetual daylight. They turn the water into a nutritious emerald broth, forming the foundation of the entire Antarctic food web. Now, krill, small shrimp-like crustaceans, gather in superswarms so vast they can be detected from space. The summer's bounty beckons its ultimate guests, the largest creatures ever to have existed on our planet, the blue whales. At over 100 feet long and weighing up to 200 tons, they come to the Antarctic seas in summer to feed on the immense swarms of krill. These magnificent creatures surpass even the largest dinosaurs that ever walked the Earth. Its heart is the size of a small car. Yet, despite its colossal size, the blue whale is one of the ocean's most elegant and graceful swimmers. A blue whale surfaces in the distance. Its powerful blow creates a spout of condensed vapor that can reach over 30 feet into the air. Its back seems endless as it glides at the surface. The sight of such a giant in the vastness of the ocean is simply breathtaking. The blue whale's feeding strategy is one of nature's greatest spectacles. Using a technique known as lunge feeding, the whale accelerates towards dense patches of krill, opening its gigantic mouth to engulf a volume of water that can exceed 70 tons. A single blue whale can consume up to 4 tons of krill each day during the brief Antarctic summer. These gentle giants play a vital role in the ecosystem, not just as consumers of krill, but also by fertilizing the ocean. Amidst the deep blue waters, a symphony of ancient intelligence begins to resonate. These deep, complex melodies can travel for hundreds of miles through the ocean's depths. This is the unmistakable song of the humpback whale, a giant drawn to Antarctica to feast on the summer's riches. As summer arrives, they migrate to the Antarctic Ocean to indulge in the season's bounty. Reaching up to 52 feet in length and weighing as much as 40 tons, the humpback whale is one of the largest animals on Earth. And yet, they feed almost exclusively on one of the ocean's smallest creatures, krill. A humpback surfaces near the ice edge. Its dense blow, reaching up to 10 feet high, dissolves into the frigid air. For a moment, it hangs motionless at the surface, its massive form dwarfing the surrounding ice floes, before taking a deep breath and vanishing. Below the surface, the humpback performs one of the most spectacular feeding behaviors. They employ a strategy known as bubble net feeding to concentrate their prey. Swimming in a spiral beneath a school of krill, they release streams of bubbles that rise to the surface, creating a virtual cylindrical net to corral their quarry. At the decisive moment, the whale lunges up through the center of the net, its mouth wide open, to filter thousands of gallons of water and krill. With this behavior, a single humpback can consume up to 1.5 tons of krill a day, building vital energy reserves for the long migration to tropical waters to breed. As the Antarctic summer reaches its peak, the surrounding seas become a stage for one of the world's most extraordinary aerial displays. The wandering Albatross, with a wingspan that can exceed 11 feet and a masterful glide, patrols the Southern Ocean with an efficiency that seems to defy the laws of physics. These magnificent birds are the quintessential ocean explorers, capable of flying for thousands of miles without landing. A wandering albatross skims effortlessly above the waves. Its keen eye scans the surface for any sign of food. The albatross's flight is a masterpiece of energy conservation, employing a technique known as dynamic soaring. It exploits the difference in wind speed at varying heights above the ocean's surface, allowing it to cover immense distances with minimal expenditure of energy. The presence of the wandering albatross in Antarctic waters is seasonal, coinciding with the peak of the ocean's productivity. Across the vast expanse, a tireless traveler appears, connecting the two poles of the Earth in an unimaginable journey. It is the Arctic tern, the creature that undertakes the longest migration on the planet. It leaves the fading Arctic summer, flying over 25,000 miles to reach Antarctica, just as its summer is reaching its height. In this way, it lives in an almost perpetual summer, enjoying more daylight than any other creature on Earth. Their arrival coincides with a time when their favored prey, small fish and krill, concentrate in the relatively warmer waters of the continent's periphery. An Arctic tern hovers over a stretch of open water. Its hunting technique is a masterpiece of aerial precision. Upon spotting a target, it folds its wings and plunges towards the water at speeds that can reach nearly 40 miles per hour. At the last moment, it flares its wings to break, snatching its prey with its beak just inches from the surface. The Arctic tern's ability to navigate over such vast distances remains one of the great mysteries of animal behavior. They can return to the same feeding grounds year after year, suggesting an innate navigational ability that surpasses our most sophisticated technology. From the icy horizon, the Adélie penguins begin their great march to ancient nesting grounds. They transform from clumsy walkers into powerful living torpedoes beneath the waves. This is perhaps Antarctica's most iconic species, beginning the procession to nesting grounds that have existed for thousands of years. Standing only about 2.5 feet tall, these extraordinary birds determinedly walk for hundreds of miles across the ice, following routes their ancestors have traveled for millennia. Every step is a precise calculation of evolution, serving a momentous biological purpose. A group of Adélie penguins approaches the edge of an open lead of water. They hesitate, scanning the dark surface for the shadow of a leopard seal. Suddenly, as if on an invisible signal, they plunge in unison. Their streamlined bodies pierce the water like living torpedoes. Underwater, they are utterly transformed. From awkward walkers, they become elegant and powerful athletes. Their wings, useless for flight, become powerful flippers, propelling them at astonishing speeds, capable of bursts up to nearly 10 miles per hour. They can hold their breath for up to 6 minutes, diving to depths of over 300 feet in search of krill and fish the fuel for their great journey. On the ice, their procession continues. Sometimes tobogganing on their bellies across smooth ice, sometimes walking with solemn purpose over rugged terrain. Their journey is fraught with peril, from the ever-present threat of leopard seals to the risk of being caught in a sudden blizzard. The Adélie's march is a magnificent spectacle, but they are not the only penguins to answer summer's call. On the ice-free beaches to the north, a relative with a very different character is establishing its own noisy kingdom. The Chinstrap penguin, distinguished by a characteristic black line running under its chin, arrives in great numbers to establish breeding colonies. These are among the most aggressive and territorial of penguins, and their arrival marks the beginning of one of the most intense periods of competition and conflict. Their presence serves as a critical biological indicator of the ecosystem's health. They are sensitive to changes in sea ice extent and the abundance of krill. Researchers closely monitor their breeding success as a measure of the ecosystem's overall health. But the summer ocean's bounty also attracts brutal phantoms. Lurking among the floes, Antarctica's apex predator awaits its moment, the leopard seal. Growing up to 11.5 feet long, and weighing over 1,300 pounds, the leopard seal is Antarctica's ultimate predator. Its distinctive spotted coat provides perfect camouflage amidst the dappled light and shadow of the ice edge. Unlike other seals that feed primarily on fish, the leopard seal hunts a more diverse range of prey, from krill and fish to penguins. Its dentition reveals this varied diet: sharp canines for gripping large prey, and complex molars for filtering krill from the water. It lurks near a well-used penguin highway. The approach is calculated, waiting for hours for the perfect opportunity. When a group of penguins appears, the seal dives, becoming invisible in the dark water. The attack is swift and precise. It erupts from the water like a missile, its massive jaws closing on an unlucky penguin. Its method of processing prey is equally brutal, shaking the victim violently to separate flesh from skin and bone. However, scientists have recently discovered a surprising side to these apex predators. Some leopard seals have been documented interacting with penguins without harming them, a complex behavior that suggests a level of intelligence we are only just beginning to understand. Meanwhile, in the skies above, keen eyes await a moment of chaos to commit the most audacious acts of piracy. This is the Antarctic skua, a bird with a fearsome reputation. These extraordinary birds are the master opportunists of Antarctica. They might scavenge carcasses on the ice, steal food from other birds, or hunt live prey, from fish to penguin chicks. Their adaptability and intelligence have made them one of the most successful predators in this ecosystem. A skua spots a group of Adélie penguins feeding their young. The adults have returned from the sea, their crops full of krill and fish. The skua circles high above, its sharp eyes assessing the situation, looking for the perfect moment to strike. The attack is swift and decisive. It dives on the colony, its shrill calls sowing chaos. In the confusion, it targets a penguin chick. The skuas immediately descend to claim the prize. Some skuas work in pairs. One distracts the parent birds while the other raids the nest. In an environment where resources are scarce, the ability to exploit every opportunity, be it direct predation, scavenging, or theft, is the biological key to survival. While the sky pirates seek opportunity in chaos on the distant coastal rocks, a kingdom of power and revival is alive with a thunderous roar. Antarctic fur seals have returned to their traditional breeding grounds in seemingly impossible numbers. The bulls arrive first. Giant patriarchs weighing up to 440 pounds, ready for the battles that will determine their right to breed. The dominant male guards his territory from a high, rocky outcrop. His roar echoes across the beach, a declaration of sovereignty. This territory, perhaps only a few yards of beach, will be his temporary kingdom for the coming months, and he will defend it ferociously. The first females begin to arrive. They are in the final stages of pregnancy and come to these beaches to give birth to the pups they have carried through the long winter. Each female will seek out the territory of the strongest male, a decision that will determine the fate and safety of her offspring. The birth is swift. Within minutes, a small black pup is born, already equipped with the instincts needed for survival. The mother begins to clean and nurse her pup, forging a vital bond in the very first moments of life. While the beaches are alive with roars far offshore, the true krill specialists quietly go about their business with an unrivaled biological filter. Despite their misleading name, Crabeater seals have never eaten a crab in their lives. These elegant silver-grey seals are the world's foremost experts in consuming krill, possessing one of the most specialized sets of teeth in the animal kingdom. They are one of the most abundant large mammals on Earth, with a population estimated at up to 12 million individuals. During the summer, they can be found throughout the pack ice, often hauled out on floes in groups of dozens or even hundreds. This idleness is deceptive. They are perfectly adapted to a life on the sea ice, and every behavior is governed by the need to find food and avoid enemies. When it is time to feed, they slip into the water almost silently. Beneath the surface, they become efficient hunting machines, using their lobed, interlocking teeth to filter krill from the water with astonishing precision. The Crabeater seal's dentition is an unparalleled biological sieve. This feeding strategy is so effective that a single Crabeater seal can consume up to 18 pounds of krill per day. It is estimated that Crabeater seals consume more krill than all other Antarctic predators combined. That makes them one of the most important species in the ecosystem. But every feast must come to an end. As the sun begins its long retreat, Antarctica closes in on itself, becoming a realm of darkness and death. This is when the true masters of survival are revealed. Eventually, it disappears completely, plunging Antarctica into a 4-month-long winter. The temperatures, which were merely freezing in summer, now plummet to levels that can freeze flesh in minutes. The ocean, once teeming with life, begins to freeze, its surface becoming a solid ice shelf. Yet, even in this extreme period, life not only endures, but finds ingenious ways to thrive. The creatures that choose to remain in Antarctica during the winter are the true masters of survival, with extraordinary adaptations. Emperor penguins gather in colonies of up to hundreds of thousands, sharing warmth and sheltering each other from the lethal cold. These species synchronize their life cycles with the rhythm of the seasons, breeding and raising their young in conditions that would be fatal to most other life forms. As winter envelops the continent, one of the most extraordinary and moving events in the natural world is about to begin. Deep in the Weddell Sea, thousands of emperor penguins gather for a mating ritual that has remained unchanged for millions of years. These magnificent birds, standing over 3 feet tall and weighing up to 90 pounds, are the only birds to breed during the Antarctic winter. This audacious strategy, seemingly impossible, is in fact a masterpiece of evolutionary adaptation. It allows their chicks to fledge during the brief and bountiful Antarctic summer. The emperor penguin colony is an indescribable sight. Thousands of birds stand in tight groups on the ice, their black and white plumage a stark contrast against the endless white snow. The courtship ritual begins. Males and females approach each other with lowered heads, rubbing their beaks and necks together in a gentle dance. The male's call, a deep and resonant trumpet, signals his readiness to take on the ultimate parental challenge. After mating, the female lays a single, precious egg, then transfers it to the male with perfect coordination. The male places the egg on his feet, covering it with a warm fold of skin known as a brood pouch. From that moment, the male will not leave the egg for the next 64 days, enduring the very worst of the winter. While his partner makes the long journey to the ocean to feed. The male emperor penguin's fast is the most heroic parental fast in the natural world. He loses up to 40% of his body weight. As the temperature drops to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, he huddles with thousands of other males in dense formations, slowly rotating like a living galaxy, sharing warmth. While the emperors huddle for warmth on the brutal surface of the ice, directly beneath their feet, another specialist finds safety in the heart of an ocean that never fully freezes. This is the Weddell seal, living beneath the frozen surface of the ocean. It is one of the southernmost living mammals on Earth, capable of surviving in areas where the sea remains frozen for most of the year. These seals keep their breathing holes open in the thick ice. This behavior, though essential for survival, comes at a high cost. A Weddell seal emerges from its breathing hole. Its dark eyes, perfectly adapted to the low light beneath the ice, scan the surface before it dives again. It can stay underwater for over an hour, diving more than 2,000 feet deep in search of prey. Its diving ability is phenomenal. Its whiskers are also incredibly sensitive, able to detect the slightest movements in the water, signaling the presence of prey. But not all winter life hides beneath the water. Amidst the whiteout blizzards, an ethereal figure emerges like a spirit from the void. It is the snow petrel, pure white from beak to tail. It is one of the few bird species that remains in Antarctica throughout the winter. These ethereal birds, with a wingspan of nearly 3 feet, are perfectly adapted to a life on the ice. The snow petrel's diet consists mainly of krill, fish, and squid. It becomes an essential scavenger, feeding on the carcasses of seals and penguins that have perished in the harsh winter. The snow petrel's nesting behavior is as extreme as its winter survival strategy. They nest in the most inaccessible places imaginable, in the crevices of cliffs, often in areas where the temperature never rises above freezing. As the Antarctic winter reaches its deepest point, subtle but unmistakable signs of change begin to appear. The transition from winter to summer in Antarctica is characterized by the slow and majestic return of light. The sun, absent for 4 long months, begins to appear as a faint halo, growing larger on the horizon each day. This moment, when the sun first reappears, marks the beginning of a vital cycle of life and renewal. The animals that have survived the winter begin to change their strategies. The emperor penguin chicks, now large enough, prepare for their first perilous journey to the sea. Weddell seals begin to venture further from their icy territories. As the light returns, and the temperatures begin to slowly rise, the stage is set for the return of millions of creatures. The Great Migration is about to begin again, and Antarctica will once more become the scene of one of the greatest expressions of life on Earth. But even as we celebrate the return of the light, we must recognize the existential challenges this pristine wilderness is now facing. Antarctica's wilderness, once an isolated sanctuary, now faces challenges that threaten its delicate ecological balance. Climate change is warming the Antarctic Peninsula at a rate 3 times the global average. The results are already visible and alarming. Giant ice shelves are collapsing. Glaciers are retreating at an alarming rate. The collapse of historic ice shelves, like Larsen B, has eliminated critical habitat for species like the Adélie penguin. Rising ocean temperatures are reducing the extent of sea ice, the crucial breeding ground for emperor penguins and Crabeater seals. Commercial fishing in the Southern Ocean, though regulated, continues to exert significant pressure on key species like the Antarctic toothfish and krill. Perhaps most worrying is the exponential acceleration of these changes. What once occurred on geological timescales is now happening within a human lifetime, leaving Antarctic species little time to adapt. The magnificent creatures that have survived in the harshest environment on Earth now face their greatest challenge. To survive the unforeseen consequences of human activity, the fate of Antarctica and its extraordinary fauna now rests in our hands. The decisions we make in the coming decades will determine whether future generations will witness the spectacular expressions of life that have shaped this continent for millions of years. Or whether they will inherit a diminished world, where Earth's greatest survivors were finally overcome by a planet transformed by the indelible footprint of humanity. As dawn breaks across the golden plains, the light reveals a monarch of undisputed majesty, the lion. With its magnificent mane flowing in the wind, it is an icon of power and strength. But kingship is no mere title. It is a daily struggle for dominion, for life, and for balance. Lions live in tightly structured prides, composed mainly of related females, their offspring, and a few resident males. Every member has a vital role. The lionesses, expert hunters, work in concert to bring down prey far larger than themselves. The dominant male, meanwhile, guards the pride from all threats, from other predators to rival males seeking to usurp his reign. Life on the savannah is a ceaseless cycle of trial and endeavor. During the hunt, the lionesses display tactical mastery. They move like wraiths, encircling the zebra. A moment's inattention, and the striped herd erupts in a storm of dust, forcing the lions into a fatal sprint. Beyond its role as a predator, the lion holds a crucial position in the ecosystem. By managing the populations of herbivores, they prevent overgrazing and help to sustain the fragile tapestry of the grassland. But the king's throne is perpetually challenged. Rival males arrive to contest for dominance, and these ferocious battles shape the destiny of the entire tribe. As day yields to dusk, the lion's roar echoes across the savanna. It is a sound of authority and presence, announcing its sovereignty to ally and adversary alike. For the lion, the savanna is not just a home. It is a stage where tales of power, sacrifice, and leadership are written from one generation to the next. It is not always brute strength or cooperation that prevails. Sometimes, cunning and adaptability are the keys to survival. In the savanna's twilight, an eerie cackle echoes through the air. It belongs to the spotted hyena, one of Africa's most adaptable and misunderstood carnivores. They exist in a matriarchal society, where formidable females dominate and lead. But their reputation often belies their ecological importance. With immensely powerful jaws, the spotted hyena can crush bone, consuming almost every part of a carcass. This habit not only maximizes their food source, but also plays a critical role in sanitizing the ecosystem, preventing the spread of disease. They are the cleanup crew of the savanna. The power of the collective, combined with a complex communication system, makes them formidable rivals. Hyenas live in clans of up to 80 individuals, led by the most powerful female. This unique social structure is built on a clear hierarchy, where family bonds are central. The female's leadership is not merely symbolic. In hyena society, they are the mightier sex, larger, more aggressive, and utterly dominant over the males. As the hyena's laughter fades, another predator emerges, one that finds an ally in silence. Amidst the shadows and branches, a solitary, elegant form moves with the precision of a phantom. This is the leopard, a master of concealment, and one of the savanna's most elusive hunters. With a golden coat adorned with dark spots, the leopard is a perfect example of camouflage. Each patterned spot, known as a rosette, is unique to the individual, like a human fingerprint. By day, it is a master of hiding, resting on high branches. This is also where it secures its prey, safe from scavengers. As night falls, it descends silently to hunt. Its movements are so fluid that it seems to merge with the darkness itself. Unlike the lion, the leopard thrives in solitude. It depends on the element of surprise, approaching its prey without being seen or heard. Its body is a machine perfected for this task. Every step is calculated, every attack swift and lethal. But the leopard is more than a hunter. It is a born survivor. While other predators compete directly, the leopard adapts. Yet, the savanna remains a challenging battlefield. The leopard, however, is undaunted. It uses its greatest weapon discretion to avoid unnecessary confrontations. An intense gaze from its elevated perch is enough for it to decide its next move. Always calculated, always efficient. As the sun warms the vast plains, A golden blur streaks across the horizon at incredible speed. It is the cheetah, the fastest predator on land, a creature whose very existence depends on its ability to turn every hunt into a race against time. With a body engineered for velocity, the cheetah is a masterpiece of natural design. Long, muscular legs, a flexible spine, and semi-retractable claws allow it to accelerate explosively, reaching 60 miles per hour in just a few seconds. But this speed comes at a price. The cheetah can only maintain this pace over short distances, turning every chase into a life-or-death gamble. Unlike other large predators, the cheetah relies more on sight than smell to locate its prey. Nature has gifted it with an elegant detail. Dark tear marks running from the corner of its eyes to its mouth. These are natural sunglasses, reducing the sun's glare and keeping its vision sharply focused on the target. It scans the open landscape, alert to the slightest movement, searching for young or unwary antelope. When the opportunity arises, it lunges with calculated precision, keeping its head level and its eyes locked on the prize. Despite its impressive speed, the cheetah faces many challenges. In this vulnerable moment, other predators, such as hyenas or lions, may appear to steal its hard-won meal. Moreover, the cheetah is not a social predator. It hunts alone or in small family groups, often a mother with her cubs, or a coalition of brothers. These bonds are crucial, especially for the young. They learn the techniques of hunting and survival from their mother before venturing out on their own. Under the golden light of dusk, one of the most spectacular and iconic sights of the African savanna comes to life. Endless herds of zebra and wildebeest are on the move, crossing vast plains in search of fresh pasture. This is the Great Migration, a spectacle of endurance and survival that defines the rhythm of the savanna. This epic event is a journey of thousands of miles, driven by an innate need to follow the rains and the promise of food. The great journey is often led by the zebra. They prefer to graze on the tall, tough stems of the grass. This very act clears the way, exposing the tender, new shoots below the perfect feast for the millions of wildebeest that follow. This symbiotic relationship is fascinating. The zebra benefits from the herd instinct of the wildebeest, while the wildebeest relies on the zebra's navigational memory. However, this journey is far from easy. The moment the wildebeest and zebra cross the rivers, challenging the crocodiles, is one of the most dramatic scenes on the savanna. It represents both the peril and the innate courage of these creatures. The wildebeest, with its muscular body and long snout, is a symbol of endurance. Though they may seem clumsy when running in a herd, they possess a steady and efficient gait that allows them to cover long distances without exhaustion. Living in vast herds, they rely on the strength of numbers for protection. Beyond being a struggle for survival, these migrations are vital for the savanna's equilibrium. As the herds move, their hooves aerate the dry soil, allowing buried seeds to receive oxygen. Their dung fertilizes the earth, nourishing the life cycle that sustains the vegetation. The ceaseless movement of these thousands of animals renews the savanna each season, ensuring that other herbivores and predators can also thrive. As dramatic as it is, the Great Migration is also a celebration of life. It symbolizes the deep connection between all species and the adaptation of each one to this challenging environment. Beneath the murky waters of the rivers that cut through the savanna, a relentless predator waits in silence. The Nile crocodile, with its scaled body and watchful eyes, is a master of patience and one of the most ancient and efficient hunters on the planet. It reigns in the waterways, where its presence instills fear in all who venture across. Averaging over 16 feet in length and weighing up to 1,500 pounds, the Nile crocodile is a survival machine. Its muscular body and powerful jaws can generate a terrifying force, capable of breaking bones with ease. Its teeth are not for chewing, but for clamping and holding. Once prey is in its grasp, escape is nearly impossible. Its hunting technique is simple yet devastating. It lies motionless, resembling a floating log, until the perfect moment to strike. The rivers and lakes are perfect ambush points. When wildebeest, zebra, or other herbivores approach to drink or cross, the crocodile lunges with explosive speed, seizing its prey and dragging it to the depths. Though they may seem like solitary predators, crocodiles are more organized than they appear. This hunting efficiency helps to regulate the populations of herbivores, balancing the aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems of the savanna. But the Nile crocodile does not live on large hunts alone. Its diet is incredibly varied, including fish, birds, and even small mammals. It also plays a crucial role in cleaning the rivers, consuming carcasses and the leftovers of other predators. Amidst the tall grasses and sparse bushes, a small but robust survivor appears with quick, alert steps. The warthog, with its muscular body, curved tusks, and ever-watchful expression, is an emblem of resilience in an environment fraught with danger. Although its relatively small size might suggest vulnerability, the warthog compensates with remarkable cunning and adaptability. Its long, sharp tusks are valuable tools for digging for food and for self-defense. It is an opportunistic omnivore, feeding on roots, tubers, fruits, and even small insects, making the most of what the savanna provides. Warthogs live in small family groups known as sounders, consisting of adult females and their young. The males, meanwhile, prefer a solitary life, approaching only during the mating season. Although they can run at an impressive speed of up to 30 miles per hour, they often choose to confront danger, using their tusks to intimidate or injure an attacker. One of the most notable behaviors of the warthog is its constant vigilance. While feeding or resting, they are always attentive to signs of danger. With a simple flick of their erect tail, they signal an alarm to the other members of the group. Despite its modest appearance, the warthog plays an important role in the ecosystem. As they dig in the soil for food, they help to aerate the earth and promote the growth of new plants. Moving gracefully across the plains, the impala is the embodiment of agility and elegance. These slender antelopes live in a state of constant vigilance, balancing the search for food and water with the need to escape ever-present predators. In an environment where survival depends on speed and cunning, the impala is a true expert in the art of evasion. With a light body and powerful legs, the impala can leap up to 33 feet in length and 10 feet in height in a single bound. When pursued, their abrupt changes in direction and unpredictable leaps make them a difficult target. The impala is a highly adaptable herbivore, feeding on a wide variety of grasses, leaves, and fruits. This flexible diet allows it to survive in different environmental conditions, easily adapting to seasonal changes. Socially, impala live in groups whose structure changes with the seasons and herd dynamics. Life on the savanna is perilous, and the impala, as a medium-sized herbivore, lies at the heart of the food chain. However, their ability to detect threats from a distance, thanks to their keen senses, gives them a fighting chance. Often, impalas stay close to other species, like zebra and wildebeest, sharing the benefit of collective vigilance to spot predators. Beyond their role as prey, impala are crucial to the ecological balance. As they graze, they help to control vegetation growth, allowing new plants to flourish. They also act as seed dispersers, transporting and sowing the seeds of the plants they consume. Although the impala lives under constant pressure, its adaptability and agility are a testament to its resilience. And as they leap and run across the plains, another formidable silhouette appears on the horizon, the African buffalo, the mighty warrior of the grasslands. Heavy, powerful, and resolute, the African buffalo dominates the plains with its imposing presence. With its muscular body and curved horns like natural helmets, this herbivore is known for both its strength and its loyalty to the herd. The African buffalo is not just a survivor, it is a symbol of collective strength and resilience. Living in large herds that can number in the hundreds, the African buffalo finds safety in numbers. Their herds are strategically organized, with the most vulnerable members, like the young, protected in the center, while the stronger adults form an outer barrier. This defensive structure is one of the reasons they are so difficult to attack, even for formidable predators like lions. The buffalo is a non-selective grazer, feeding on various grasses and plants found on the plains and along rivers. Their seasonal behavior forces them to migrate in search of water during the dry season, crossing dangerous terrain and often facing predator ambushes. Members of the herd rarely abandon their own. In addition to their strength and organization, African buffalo play a vital ecological role. As they graze, they help to control the growth of vegetation, allowing the grasslands to regenerate and promoting biodiversity. Their dung also fertilizes the soil, facilitating the growth of new plants. Despite their impressive defenses, buffalo still face constant challenges. However, the buffalo is a formidable adversary. As dawn illuminates the vast plains, another impressive figure emerges. It is the hippopotamus, the titan of the waterways, a creature whose placid presence conceals a territorial and powerful nature. With its massive body and unpredictable behavior, the hippopotamus is a force to be reckoned with, both in and out of the water. Weighing over 3 tons, these giants spend most of the day submerged in water, protecting themselves from the scorching savanna heat. Their nostrils and eyes are positioned on top of their heads, allowing them to breathe and observe their surroundings while almost completely submerged. The water is the hippopotamus's kingdom, where it moves with surprising agility. Though they may appear placid, hippos are extremely territorial, especially the males who dominate stretches of rivers or lakes. They engage in fierce confrontations to defend their territory, using their sharp canine teeth to injure or intimidate rivals. These teeth, which can be over 1.5 feet long, are powerful weapons. At night, the hippopotamus comes ashore to feed. They walk long distances, grazing on grass, which is the main component of their diet. Despite their slow appearance, they can run very fast on land, reaching speeds of up to 18 miles per hour. Beyond this, the hippopotamus is a silent ecological engineer. Beneath the vast savanna sky, a majestic form ambles with quiet grace, shaping the land with every footstep. This is the African elephant, the gentle giant. They do not simply live in this environment, they transform it, leaving their mark on its rivers, trees, and plains. The African elephant is the largest terrestrial mammal, and its presence is impossible to ignore. Weighing over 6 tons, it displays extraordinary strength and intelligence. Its tusks serve both as tools for digging up roots and bark, and as weapons for defense. Yet, it is the trunk that is most impressive. A flexible appendage composed of thousands of muscles, it is used for breathing, drinking, communicating, and performing delicate tasks. But it is not only size that makes them remarkable. Elephants are highly social, living in matriarchal herds led by experienced females who follow ancient routes in search of water and food. This leadership is vital, especially during the dry season, when the collective memory of the matriarch can be the difference between life and death. The elephant's impact on the savanna is profound. Their relentless journeys connect different habitats, dispersing seeds and promoting the growth of new plants. Despite their size, elephants are not immune to danger. While healthy adults are rarely attacked, calves can become targets for lions or hyenas. As the day grows hotter, elephants seek out rivers and lakes. The sight of an elephant covering itself in mud is not just a moment of relief, but a strategy to protect its skin from the heat and insects. As the elephants continue their majestic journey, another distinctive silhouette stands out against the horizon. It is the giraffe, sentinel of the upper reaches, whose long neck seems to touch the sky, affording it a unique perspective. The giraffe is the tallest land animal on the planet, with males reaching heights of nearly 20 feet. This evolutionary advantage allows it to access foliage beyond the reach of other herbivores, particularly the leaves of the acacia tree, its favorite food. Its long, dexterous tongue, which can be almost 20 inches long, is covered in tough skin that protects it from sharp thorns as it delicately plucks the leaves. But the giraffe's height is not only for feeding. From its elevated vantage point, it surveys the world with constant vigilance, detecting predators from a great distance. This behavior makes it an unwitting ally for other herbivores, which often stay nearby, trusting its early warning system. Giraffes live in loose groups, known as towers, where social bonds are fluid. But this protection does not prevent the giraffe from displaying its strength when necessary. Its long, powerful legs can deliver lethal kicks, an impressive weapon against any threat. These battles, though often appearing slow and choreographed, can be exceedingly brutal. Despite its graceful and placid appearance, the giraffe is an essential part of the savanna's balance. By browsing on trees, it encourages the regeneration of foliage, while the seeds it consumes are dispersed in its droppings, helping to spread vegetation. Under the vast African sky, the savanna pulses as a stage of life, where strength, adaptation, and cooperation shape every existence. Each creature, from the stealthy leopard to the resilient zebra, plays a vital role in this intricately connected ecosystem. More than just an arena of competition, the savanna is an example of resilience. It is a place where ingenuity overcomes adversity and ecological harmony sustains the fragile balance of life. The Great Migration, the strength of the buffalo, and the cunning of the hyena show us that survival here is an art form. As the sun sets, painting the horizon in shades of gold, we are reminded of the grandeur and fragility of this world. May these stories inspire a reverence and protection for the African savanna, a natural jewel of complexity and beauty.